Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Christian Appalachian Project continues to do charitable work after completing its 100th house for a flood survivor. Plus, early voting continues in the Commonwealth as the election gets closer and closer.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 5:31 on November 3rd. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And Brandon, we're once again feeling that chilly air this morning. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a warm up later today.
Exactly. Not as cold as it has been, though. So still in some spots in those 20s, but getting better. Slowly getting better this morning. Let's go to the London Corbin Airport, and you can see pretty calm down that way this morning. No major issues. It's not too warm across much of the region. And again, there's a huge swing. 24 now in Clintwood, 241 in Jackson, 30 at the London Corbin Airport, 30 at Harlan over at Tucker Guthrie, looking at 38 Pikeville, 37 in Prestonsburg there, 27 in Ashland, 39 in Moorhead, and 36 in Somerset Urban at 28. Headlines for today. Sunny skies will continue. Temperatures stay mild for now and through the weekend, but we're watching two possible systems next week that gives us some decent shots at rain as we head into the forecast. And one of those could be a colder system that could bring some cold air behind it. Olivia?
All right, thank you, Brandon. The University of Kentucky issued a crime bulletin last night for a sexual assault. The school says the assault reportedly happened yesterday in the victim's dorm room in an on-campus residential hall. They say the victim and suspect are both UK students, and the suspect is known to the victim. UK police are now investigating. They say anyone who has been a victim of sexual assault or any other crime should come forward. One person is in jail after a drug bust in Lee County, Virginia. The incident happened Wednesday at a McDonald's in Pennington Gap. Once police arrived at the scene, the suspect gave them permission to search his car. Afterwards, officers found a pistol under the driver's seat, along with nearly 3.5 pounds of what they believe to be meth and other items. Marshall Dell Jones is facing multiple charges, including possessing drugs with the intent to distribute. In Laurel County, the sheriff's office is asking for help finding a person who went missing. 33-year-old Brittany Begley was last seen on September 1st off West Cumberland Gap Parkway. Officials say she is 5'8" and 200 pounds with blonde hair. If you have any information, you are asked to contact the sheriff's office at 606-878-7000 or message the sheriff's office Facebook. A part of southern Kentucky that local officials say is underserved is warning systems has a new weather radar system. The new radar unit is on top of a water tower in Jamestown in Russell County. The system is part of a partnership between Climate Vision and Russell County government, and they say it will provide needed warning information to local residents and the many tourists that visit Lake Cumberland.
And seeing the radar on top of this tower here, knowing that it's going to help to protect the community from obviously changing weather patterns that have become a lot more volatile in recent years.
Officials say it will fill in a gap between current NEXRAD sites. Climate Vision is also installing a radar system in northern Kentucky. This is their first one in the state. The Christian Appalachian Project just completed its 100th repaired home for a flood survivor. One woman in Knott County says she is happy to be back home. WYMT's RJ Johnson spoke with the homeowner on her journey so far.
Flood recovery hasn't been easy for Brenda Sloan. Like many others, her home was damaged in the July 2022 flood. She says it was hard getting help afterwards.
So I tried, I got an attorney, I appealed it, got nothing. They rejected me again. Another time I still haven't heard, and I sent a certified letter.
However, she knew giving up was not an option.
You know, I have a granddaughter to raise, you know, and I kept thinking, you know, he spared me. I mean, it was like I was on an island. When I looked out the side windows of the house and I looked out the back, and all I seen was water.
Thanks to help from the Christian Appalachian Project, a representative came out to see what they could do.
He surveyed and looked at everything, and he said, since you got the supplies, he said, we can come and do your job for you. And he called me back and he said, we're going to be able to.
Sloan says the only thing that kept her going was her faith.
I survived. I'm a survivor. I'm a flood survivor. And I couldn't do it without him. I honestly couldn't. If I didn't keep my faith, I would have went under with that water.
That faith is what led her to now.
And the repairs, oh my gosh, I mean, I walked into the living room and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to step down, the floor is level now. And we can walk out on the back porch because it was already fell through.
Where she can get back to her everyday life. In Knott County, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Sloan says without the Iowa Amish volunteers with Christian Appalachian Project, she would not have lights in her bathroom or hot water. Governor Andy Beshear cast his vote yesterday morning in Frankfort. Later, he joined other elected officials in Lexington, getting the word out about early voting. Governor Beshear says these early voting days are a great opportunity for Kentuckians.
Today's message from everyone up here is a nonpartisan encouragement for every single person out there, regardless of who you're going to vote for. Get out and vote early.
Early voting was expanded in the state back in 2021 with the bipartisan House Bill 574. And Attorney General and Republican nominee for Governor Daniel Cameron was campaigning in Western Kentucky yesterday. Cameron says he will vote on Tuesday and be in Louisville for his election night party. Both candidates' campaign tours will continue into the weekend. And in-person, no-excuse absentee voting continues today across Kentucky. It started Thursday and runs through Saturday. Election Day is next Tuesday, November 7th. Polls open at 6 next Tuesday morning and close at 6 that evening. A list of polling locations in each county is available at govote.ky.gov. But as early voting is underway, some clerks are facing a big issue. They are still in need of election workers. Clark County Clerk Michelle Turner says she and her staff are trying to come up with a game plan if they do not have enough people to work on Election Day. She says they have never had to shut the office down before. On the flip side, Bourbon County Clerk Santana Wilson says they have an abundance of people who have expressed interest in working the election. Abortion has been a big issue for years, but now that it's largely outlawed in Kentucky, the political dynamics have changed. We've heard a lot about it in the governor's race. Garrett Weimer breaks down their abortion claims in this Campaign 2023 Fact Check.
In our issues survey, abortion ended up the 5th highest priority.
Thanks for coming out.
The conversation has certainly shifted.
And we're going to keep working hard. Look,
from the primary campaign.
Only one candidate stopped abortion in Kentucky.
To the general.
I'm speaking out because women and girls need to have options. Daniel Cameron would give us none.
Much of the abortion debate has centered on exceptions to the state's bans. The only current exception in Kentucky law is to protect the life and health of the mother. According to an analysis by the independent nonprofit KFF, of the 22 states that ban or restrict abortion, 8 have exceptions for rape and incest. Kentucky does not.
My opponent has now had 11 different chances to look at a camera and to tell you whether he is personally for exceptions for rape and incest. I'll show you how. I am personally for exceptions for rape and incest. Those individuals deserve options.
Fact check. Cameron's positions on exceptions has appeared to evolve. In September, he first said he would sign a bill with exceptions for rape and incest, the first time he publicly expressed support for that. At the Kentucky debate, when pressed for clarity, he did not say he would push lawmakers to do it.
Now contrast that to Andy Beshear, an extremist whose record in public office is clear. he supports abortion through the 9th month.
Fact check. Beshear says he has always supported, quote, reasonable restrictions on abortion, especially on late-term procedures. As AG, he defended the state's law requiring an ultrasound before an abortion, but refused to defend the state's 20-week abortion ban. As governor, he vetoed a 15-week abortion ban, citing the lack of exceptions for rape and incest.
Cameron even supports allowing the government to investigate our private medical records.
Fact check. Cameron did sign a letter saying officials should be able to have access to patient records for investigations. He and 18 other Republican state attorneys general opposed a proposed HIPAA rule change that would shield the information of patients who travel out of state for reproductive health care. The letter says it would unlawfully interfere with states' authority to enforce their laws and could end up protecting providers who perform illegal abortions. As it is now, abortion providers in Kentucky could face 1 to 5 years in prison. The law does not subject mothers to any penalties. Cameron opposed a bill filed in February that would have charged them with homicide. Last fall, Kentucky voters rejected a proposed constitutional amendment that would have explicitly stated the Commonwealth's Constitution contains no right to an abortion.
That was Garrett Weimer reporting, and that was the final installment in a month-long series of Campaign 2023 fact checks. You can find them all at WYMT.com. Coming up, one of the world's largest pop punk bands is going back on tour in 2024 for the release of their new album.
Well, the forecast continues to stay a little bit on the cooler side today, but temperatures are going to warm up to the weekend. I'll have the forecast coming up. Be back for minutes.